We are getting ready to make a batch of Grown and Sexy. This fragrance oil, it sells, this soap sells, but it does not behave well when I'm making the bars. So I do have to work a lot faster. So I've already got my hard oils already melted. So right now I'm just measuring out my olive oil and my castor oil to add to the batch. And I kind of figured out I'm usually getting my olive oil online. So in my Excel spreadsheet, I computed how much it is per ounce, also adding in the delivery, the shipping charge, and actually buying it from the store came out to 2 cents more per ounce than buying it online. But the convenience of just going to the store and getting it, I think I'll just be going with that. And I started off the year not having the right ingredients. Like I had to go to the health food store to get castor oil just so I can make soap, which is not cost effective at all. So this year we will be on top of having my ingredients on hand because you're spending too much money if you're going to get this thing of castor oil is like $14 and it's not even a lot. Yep, so now that I've got the soft oils, which is the olive oil and the castor oil measured out, I'm going to add it to my soap batter. And I had to do a voiceover on this video only because I had my TV going watching videos and it was all up in the business. So I had to do a voiceover on this soap making process right here. So I had to go and get my mold, and what I did was before I started all of these sessions, I pre-lined all of my molds, so it'd just be a smooth process. Just grab a mold and go. And yes, I still line my molds with the freezer paper. It literally takes me 4 minutes, so I don't care about all that. And because I had these molds specially made for me to get a silicone liner, I don't even know where you go for that. And like I said, it's no biggie to line this. You think I would have all of these things already on hand. But this is the fragrance oil that I use. This is Sexy Beast, and it's by Arizona Oils, part of Mad Mica. Like I said, it sells great. Grown and Sexy and Miami Beach are the two soaps that I use oils from, Mad Micas / Arizona Oils. So it they don't behave well, but they sell well. So I'm measuring out my fragrance oil, and I make 7 pounds of soap. So I use 7 ounces of fragrance oil. So it's an ounce per pound. So right there, I'm just putting on my next batch of soap, just putting it on the hard oils to heat up while I make this one. So it'll just be a smooth process. I got my gloves on. Now I've got my glasses on. I don't know what I'm looking for over there. It's probably more mica. I use, I guess, a Snake Island mica that I use in for the base of the soap, and then I use white, and I also use black, the charcoal, that's activated charcoal right there, and I use King Tut mica also. So that's the colors that are in that bar. I'm just getting the micas, and like I said, that is the King Tut mica that I'm using as one of the colorants in the soap. And I pre-mix my white with glycerin on the titanium dioxide. So that's another colorant that I also use in it. And I'm getting my containers out. Just making sure I got everything ready to go as soon as I pour this lye water in. Because as I said, sometimes this fragrance just, sometimes it behaves well, and then sometimes it just acts up. So I'm plugging in my blender, mixer, the immersion blender. Getting that plugged in, and I'm checking the temperature on the oils, I guess. And now I'm gonna add my lye water to the mix, to the oils. And I'm gonna stir it first to get it mixed because I don't want to agitate it too much with the blender. So I stir it in. It gets that opaque color. It's not fully mixed. It's not fully emulsified as yet, but this is less agitation than the stick blender. I love this blender. I'm trying to remember what brand it is, but it has a setting that you can increase, and the lowest setting is what I use when I make the milk soaps and any batter, any fragrance that's going to speed up the batter. I use it on the lowest setting, and then it also has a real pulse one. I use that when I make like soaps that don't require any swirls or anything like that, so I can get it going quicker. So I'm going to just measure out, just pour in some of the batter into the containers that I'm going to use the colorants in. The next time I do a video, I got to make sure that you actually can see the containers. I'm trying to move it over so you can see it, but what I did was get the batter just to the point of emulsification, and then I see I'm trying to lower the camera here, and then I pour out the sections that I'm going to color. That is my pre-mixed titanium dioxide. Like I said, I mix it 2-to-1 with glycerin, and then I keep it in that container covered on the table from when I'm using white in any of the soaps. So I'm going to add the King Tut mica to one of the containers. So like I said, it's King Tut mica. I use titanium dioxide. I use activated charcoal. And then the Snake Island is the base. That's the most of the color that's in there. When you're making soap, it's so hard to get the design like the previous design. And I would say that Grown and Sexy, no, yeah, Grown and Sexy is one of the bars that I make that I haven't come up with a design that I want to stick with. So I keep trying different ones each time that I do it, but we'll get there. And then it'll stay that way. Because like Chloe, Joy, Dead Sea Mud, Accra, Brooklyn, I have made them all the same all the time. So, and I love those designs, so I stick with it and I don't change it. Um, so I start with the lightest colors so I started with the white, mixed that up. I haven't added the fragrance oil to these containers as yet. It's just the colorants. So when I do colors, I do add a tiny bit of white to each of them because I feel like it makes it a hardier color. Like it's not making it lighter or anything, but it makes it a little bit more opaque. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but yeah, I feel like I don't add it to black because that's going to make it gray. That's definitely going to make it light, but I do add it to anytime I have a colorant, I add a little tiny bit of white to it. So I'm going to add some of my fragrance oil to the bigger base of the soap and a little bit into the sectioned off colorants. But I'm not going to mix it just yet because it will get too thick. So I'm going to mix up the Snake Island part first and then add that to the mold. And if you have a fragrance that does not behave well, I suggest well, it's up to you how you do it, but this is how I do it so I can have more control on when it's going to act up. And I love Mad micas because they mix well and they don't speckle and they have such great colors. Because I make the soaps the same way all the time, I haven't experienced all those colors, but I love this Snake Island color. I think the next batch I actually try the free sample that they gave me is Tahitian teal, and it can't, you'll see that video maybe when I do the cut, but I may be changing. I don't know. So I'm getting the other colorants poured in because what I'm doing is I think I do a hanger swirl on this. Let me know in the comments what like I only make cold process soap and I do some of the things that I use. I use chopstick swirl, I use an in the pot swirl, I use hanger swirl. I don't know if these other swirls you may want to see. But I find like this swirl and the in the pot swirl are fairly easy, especially in the pot, because you're literally just pouring the colors in the pot and then do one turn in the batter and then pour it into the mold. And the pouring makes the swirl. So it's a win-win. So now I'm gonna add the gold to the mold, and it sort of thickened up already because it's not going all the way to the bottom. I don't have it where you can see it, but yeah, when I was pouring it, it sort of just went to the top, didn't go down all the way to the bottom as I would like it, but we're gonna get it mixed. So I finished all the mixing, so I put my blender in the sink. Yeah, as you can see, like the white is just like sitting up on the top. So I'm just pouring out as much as I can, and then I bang it down to get any air bubbles out. And now I think I'm looking for my hanger tool. Just to get some sort of movement with the colors in there. Yeah, there goes the hanger tool. I've had this for a while, so there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just moving it around the mold. Always comes out okay, so yeah, I know there's a procedure that you do this with when you're trying to do the butterfly swirl, but I haven't done that in a while. Handmade in Florida, she's the one that created that swirl, and everybody used to just copy it but never gave her credit. That's my girl. But I went in and then did a chopstick swirl, and now I'm just getting the soap off the edge, which I think I'm just anal with that, because I'm like, you're gonna pull that paper off anyway, what do you care? So now I'm just layering out the rest of the batter that I held back for the top. Just strategically kind of putting it in the mold, to the point where when I do my signature top, it doesn't get muddled, if you know what I mean. It's when you just won't leave it alone, and you just, all your colors, I like the colors to look separate, and I try my best not to get it looking muddled on the top. That's the Virgo in me. Such a perfectionist, but so I feel like the black is definitely one of the culprits in making stuff muddled, because it takes over everything. Yeah, so I try to not get that on the edge, and I put black more in the middle. But I definitely, if I have white or yellow, they go on the edge. This way, when I do my tops, it brings up whatever was underneath, and it kind of blends with the white or the whatever color I have up on the top. It's hard to explain, but I notice it when I'm doing the tops. So whatever's on the edge, like if I have this king tut on the edge, when I go to do the sculpting, it's going to bring up some of the green, and it just adds to the contrast of everything. So it just makes it nice. I love these spatulas. I get them from the dollar store. The spatulas that I use, that I bought on Amazon, that you pay $2-3 for, they do not work as well. These are like, I think Betty Crocker. They're $1. I've probably got a good 60 of these. And they're a pain to wash. I have to pull them apart to wash them just to make sure there's nothing inside. But they scrape to the point where you don't have anything left in your containers. So now I'm going in with, I didn't do, because it hardened up quicker, I just did like just a spoon kind of sculpt. So I didn't do my regular sculpting on this because it thickened up by the time I got to it. So this is one of the soaps that just has like a smash top. But again, I try not to get it all muddled, just to make sure you keep the colors separate so it looks nice up on the top. So as I'm going through these, so Grown and Sexy is not part of the wholesale line. So in me doing the restock, I am making sure that I have 50 bars to start out the year. So right now, I think after this, it is now the 20th, but I did this soap making video like 2 weeks ago. But right now, Grown and Sexy is finished with restock. So that is that. So now I am getting ready to do another bar. I've got my mold ready and I am getting ready. I think I'm doing Hope. And Hope is lemongrass and ginger. I'm getting my lye water in the pot and I'm going to stir it up. Now, ginger doesn't react so much, but I do. It's not a bad behaving essential oil, but because there's so much going on with Hope, I try to not do so much agitation either. I've always made Hope the same way also. Hope is actually named after one of my nieces, and it is made in the colors of the Jamaican flag. BIM 246 is made in the colors of the Barbados flag. But for some reason, I think I did this, and after I made it, then I'm like, oh, why do these colors look familiar? That's because it's the Jamaican flag. But so I've always made this the same way, and this is one of the wholesale line. I have 10 bars that I have over the years that have sold the top 10 bars, and Hope is one of them. So when I do get fully stocked on this, there'll be 75 of these in stock, because sometimes I do have some people who want to do wholesale, and wholesale is 60 bars and you get 6 of each of the top 10. Yeah. So Hope is one of those bars that are part of the wholesale line. And like I said, it is lemongrass and ginger essential oil. Out of all the top 10, oatmeal is top. And that bar has been top selling for the last 14, 15 years that I've been making soap. Under it, it's always Accra that's next, and then it's Chloe, and I think Hope is actually next. But Hope is part of that. Lavender's part of it. Joy is part of it. Joy is lemongrass and grapefruit. Brooklyn, which is not an essential oil bar, but it is part of it. So I'm just getting the main batter emulsified. Get that going. I think this is a Cuisinart stick blender, but it's good. Only thing I don't like about it is that I would like to get the the attachment. Like if you wanted another attachment, I don't know why. Why would I want another attachment? But they don't sell it separately, so you have to get a whole new mixer. So I just got it to where it's at a light trace because I'm gonna do more mixing. I don't bring it fully to trace. So we've got our yellow, we've got our I guess that would be white or black. So it's yellow, black, white, and green. And like I said, those are the colors that are in Hope, and it's also the colors of the Jamaican flag. That's where I draw a lot of inspiration from. I try to get colors that kind of like complement each other. So a lot of times in the beginning, I would look on the I don't know if you've been to Home Depot, and Home Depot has like this Behr, BEHR, the paint. And sometimes when they're giving you suggestions of how to do your room, they have, like a color chart. And I used to cheat with that. And I'm like, these colors go together. And that's how I used to formulate the colors in the beginning. I think the Brooklyn bar I got that color scheme from, there's a hotel that their lobby is those colors, yellow, black, and white. I think it's in Boston, but I remember booking my boss at this hotel, and I'm like, oh, these colors go good. I'm going to make this into a bar, and I've always kept it the same colors. Because I keep my catalog the same, for this year I discontinued some bars because I feel like it's more productive for me to focus on, I've got 28 different bars, to focus on those and then go from there instead of trying to focus on some bars that don't really sell. They sell, but they don't sell as much as these do. So I narrowed it down and discontinued things like Almondacious, Cherry Blossom, Calypso. Those things, they weren't selling that much. I can use the resources and make more of the ones that do sell. It just makes more sense to me. So that's what I did. So I've got the yellow, which is the biggest base of the Hope bars, and that's my titanium dioxide in that container. And then we've got our black, and like I said, I usually go light to dark as far as mixing. And I don't fill up. I don't need black. Is just a contrast color, just to give it a little spice. But I don't do as much black as I do with the rest of them. So now we've got an essential oil blend that I add most of it to the main batter and then some to the colorants. It's all going in the same thing anyway, but I find if you don't put some fragrance into the other things that are there, they stay more fluid. So when you're trying to sculpt the top, they're not as the same consistency as something that you added the fragrance to. So then it makes it hard when I'm getting ready to sculpt the top, because now I've got a white or a green or black that's very thin, and then the rest of the batter is thick. So I try to add some to, even if it's a minimal amount, I try to add it to the colorants, the ones that I've separated out. So that is Yellow Raincoat, that mica from Mad Mica, and this is Maniacal P. That's the green that I use, and that is activated charcoal. So now I've got the essential oils mixed in, and then I'll start pouring it into the mold. I'm gonna get that stick blender into the sink. I have a container in there with water, and I just press it and run it through this way that the blades are clean, and all I gotta do is clean the top for the next batch. And as you can see, it's nice and fluid. I forgot what swirl I did on this, but we'll see in a minute. In the pot. Okay, so add in my white, and I hold my hand up high so some of it will go down to the bottom. Let's get some green in there. I'm just making sure all the mica is off the sides and fully mixed. So I hold my hand up high, and then when I'm coming to the end, I pull it down lower so the liquid goes all the way to the bottom and in the middle. So when I'm pouring out the swirl, I have a good amount of colorants in all of it. That's why you can't see my hand, because I'm holding it high, and then I bring it down to the middle, to the top. And then I just put the spoon in there, and I give it one turn. That's it. And then I left back some batter in the containers, and that's what I use for the top. But we are going to pour this into the mold and call it a day. So this is what's called an in the pot swirl. And you see that the colors are all throughout. And that's when you holding the containers all the way up and all the way down. This way, when you pour, you get colorants throughout. So I'm just kind of evening it out, getting rid of any air bubbles that I might have formed, and probably getting all of it out of the container. Get that up on top. And meanwhile, while I'm doing this, the colorants in the other containers are firming up a little. So it'll be ready with the right consistency when it's time for me to sculpt the top. And I definitely sculpt the top on this one. Because as I said, lemongrass and ginger, they can speed up, and I think sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but it's not where it's not controllable. And it may be the ginger. So I'm trying to check my Excel spreadsheet to see where I'm at on hope. Because I have it here off on the side, but for hope, right now I have 25 bars made. So I have to make another 50 bars of hope to bring it up to the desired amount. Because it's part of the wholesale line, I like to have Hope at 75. So I'm trying to stay on top of that this year. So I definitely sell more than 75 bars of Hope a year. But my thing is, if I have 75 bars made in January, and let's say once I start the restock notification to let people know it's now available, because we were basically sold out of everything. So once that's up and it gets down to where it's maybe 40 bars left, then I'll make another batch. I like for the soaps to be have cured at least. I don't want to sell it right when it's just cured. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just me. Um, but I like for it to, the longer the bar dries out. Now I give it this full 6 week cure. It's dried out or whatever, but it still gets harder as the weeks go on. So a harder bar lasts longer to me. I never sell anything before the 6 week cure. Other people do, but and sometimes at 5 weeks I would feel these bars and they feel good, but I still don't go. I don't sell it. I just always like how this consistency is. It's the perfect sculpting consistency. It's like mayonnaise, but that's one of my favorite parts. It's soap making. It's sculpting and the cut. So I'm just laying out the colors. And like I said, I always put black in the middle because I don't want it to muddle up the top. I'm obsessed with tops of soap. Look, there's other things that I could be obsessed with, but this is one of them. I'm here for it. Definitely let me know in the comments if there's a bar that you want to see me make online. I don't do a lot of outside of that 28 bars. I don't do a lot of other soap unless it's a custom order. I found like when I do markets and things, if I'm selling my bars and if I had a bar on there, let's say it's a small bar and it's $4, everybody will buy the $4 one. And all the time that I took to making these $9 bars will not sell. So whatever's on your table, that's what's gonna sell. And if I got 75 bars of Hope, I'm not gonna mess it up with including something that people just will gravitate to because it's much cheaper. So I go in, when I sculpt the tops of my bar, I go in with that one swoop. And this way of doing the tops was actually by accident. So when I went in with that one swoop, I saw that there's like a divot in between the swoops. So when I cut the bars, that little divot was there. So I said, okay, once I do the first swoop, I'm going to go back and even out that divot, but I'm not going to go all the way up to the top. So this is how this top came about. It was just that Virgo just bugging out, trying to make sure that I got it right. So I do that one side and then I swing the mold around. And so it's my fear that this is gonna fall off the table. I don't know why. So some crazy thoughts in my head, but it never has. Knock on wood. And then I go in now and do the other side. It sort of pushes the top from the last side over, but I don't use much force to do that because I still want it to be like a little mountain on the middle. So I go in and I do the first swoop on here, and then I come back and do the second one. And then that's it. That's how I do the tops my bars. There are some bars that are different. If the fragrance oil was acting up, like like the previous batch I made, Grown and Sexy, won't get this. Um, Oatmeal, I just do one swoop and then I have the oats on the other side. So it looks a little different than this also. I did have a friend over and he's like, why do you put oatmeal on the top of that soap? Who's going to wash with that? I was like, you do realize that this is my top selling bar, so your argument or your statement makes no sense. Let's just be quiet. And that is Hope. Hope is done. Like I said, I have to do another 50 bars of this to get this scent up to par. And that is it for our soap making.